Guys, and welcome back to the channel. Hell Dominance, Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, we have reports from the Rabbitohs versus Broncos, a preview to the Betfred Women's Challenge Cup final at Ellen Road, and Salford Red Devils extend the contracts of two of their squad members. Salford Red Devils centre Callum Watkins has signed a new 2-year contract extension, keeping him at the Red Devils until at least the end of 2023. The 31-year-old joined his hometown club Salford towards the end of the 2020 season, and after initially joining the Toronto Wolfpack. Watkins returned to action after spending 10 months on the sideline through injury. Watkins said he was really pleased to extend his stay at Salford. The club are heading in a great direction with the playing group and the coaching staff we've got here. I'm excited to continue working with everyone. It's been a tough last 12 months for me personally, but everyone at the club have supported me and pushed me to get back on the pitch, and I'm really happy to be back playing. I want to focus on keeping fit now and doing my best to represent Salford both on and off the field. Beginning his rugby league career as a junior at Salford Rugby League Club, he eventually moved on to Leeds Rhinos after impressing it for England under-17s against the Australian Institute of Sport in an under-17s tournament. He then went on to play and win 6 grand finals with Leeds Rhinos. He also won 2 League Leaders Shields in 2009 and 2015, as well as 2 Challenge Cups in 2014 and 2015, plus 1 World Cup Challenge victory in 2012. There was even a short spell down under with the Gold Coast Titans, which unfortunately didn't come to fruition, I'm afraid, as he only played 8 games for the club. His head coach even was ecstatic about the news that Callum had committed his future to the club. He has been fantastic on and off the field. He's exactly the calibre of player and, more importantly, person that we want in our organisation. He's an international athlete, a role model to all aspiring future Red Devils. I know I speak on behalf of everyone at the club in saying it's a pleasure and a privilege to have Callum in the group. Watkins is indeed an international player, as he was in the team that almost won the World Cup in 2017 as England reached the finals. He was even the player that was infamously ankle tapped when almost through on the try line. But now he looks forward to being a Salford player for another 2 years. And Salford weren't done there, as Salford's top tackler Andy Ackers has become the latest player to sign a new deal with the Red Devils, with the hooker penning a 1-year contract extension. The 28-year-old arrived at Salford midway through the 2020 campaign following the demise of Toronto Wolfpack, where he's working under current Salford head coach Rowley. Ackers' 1-year extension sees him remain at the club till at least the end of the 2022 season. Having worked with Andy before, I take a lot of personal satisfaction and pride in Andy's continued progression. Every year he becomes more well-rounded, level-headed, and a more complete rugby league player. He's been a fantastic competitor every week at training and in games, setting his standard high and working hard to achieve. I'm delighted to be able to continue to working alongside him, and pleased his future in a Salford shirt is confirmed. Ackers, who hails from Goulburn near Wigan, has played in every game for Salford this season. He has made the most tackles by a Salford Red Devils player with 401 and is currently 4th on the list of the highest tacklers in Super League. He spent time in the academies at Wigan and Warrington as a youngster, and he made his professional debut for Swinton in 2014, where he scored 23 tries in 50 games. Impressive performances for Swinton earned him a full-time move to London Broncos, where he scored 19 tries in 48 games for the capital club, and he caught the eye in the Championship. Ackers then went on to spend 2.5 seasons with Toronto between 2018 and 2020. He scored 28 tries in 66 games for the Canadian club, achieving promotion to the Super League with them. Salford gave the former Goulburn Parkside and Hindley Jr. the number 9 shirt ahead of the 2021 season and have been reaping the benefits ever since. It's Betfred Challenge Cup weekend once again, and the 2 men's semi-finals are going to be played at Elland Road in Leeds for the place to play at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on White Hart Lane for Challenge Cup final. We know a lot to do with the Challenge Cup men's side, but there is actually a third game that is actually taking place at Headingley before the 2 men's semi-finals are played. The final is being played between take 2. The final is being take 3. The 2 teams that are involved in the final are St Helens, the holders of the Challenge Cup from 2021, versus Leeds Rhinos, who go into the big venue hoping to topple the seemingly unbeatable Saints. Both teams have had a fantastic run to the final, as these scores will show. First of all, the Challenge Cup started off as a group system where there were 4 groups of 4 and each team played each other. Each team were played 3 games in the group for the top 2 to go through to the quarterfinals. For St Helens, they got through as 68 points to 0 against Barrow Raiders, then beat the British Army 88 points to 0, and Warrington Wolves 54 points to 0 in dominant displays. While Leeds came through 3 games, first of all against Huddersfield Giants, 38 points to 8, then went to Hull FC and won 48 points to 0, then beat Lee Miners Rangers 92 points to 0 for both teams to top their groups respectively. This sets up quarter-final draws with St Helens versus Huddersfield, which they got through 24 points to 0, and Leeds Rhinos getting through Warrington Wolves 40 points to 0. The draw came out in York City Knights were Leeds Rhinos' opponents, and it was a tough one for Leeds as they just came through 26 points to 24. But it was straightforward for St Helens as they went through 82 points to 0 against Featherstone Rovers. This sets up finals day for Leeds to face St Helens for the Betfred Women's Challenge Cup trophy. Speaking at a promo for the event and to Sky Sports, Jodie Cunningham, the Saints skipper, said, "We've got to perform on the day. Lots of people have us favourites going into the final, but I'm not sure that is necessarily readable on the results so far, just because we haven't come up against Leeds this season. Leeds have looked quality so far, and we are not taking Leeds for granted in this final. We know we have to be at our best. We are developing our own rivalry. These games have always been outstanding and always been close and highly competitive. And we know these games can go either way. This weekend will be the same. We as a team just want to enjoy the occasion as well as we get to play at Elland Road and it's live on TV. These are the things that are relatively new to the women's competition, and we want to take in the occasion, not letting the occasion get to us, as we want to compete as we do week in, week out. We come into the game having not conceded a point. We have really prided ourselves on our defence and making sure we do not have lapses in concentration against whoever we are facing. And Leeds will be very difficult challenge, so we have to continue in that vein. Speaking after their performance against York in the semi-finals, Courtney Winfield Hill said after missing out on last year's Challenge Cup final, it's on our squad's hit list. It's been a long time due to COVID, so everyone will be super pumped, and we are all super grateful to be here. Saints are where we want to be, and they are a very strong team. From the scoreline against Featherstone, it looks like they have all their bits in order, but we are confident and a little hurt after losing to them in the grand final. This is our first opportunity to go out and pit ourselves in the arm wrestle against them since that day. We have a lot of girls who have experience of big games, and it's important to have them wrap around the younger, less experienced girls like Sam Hume, who missed out of the big day last season due to injury, but has had a terrific start to the year. Even though there are some girls who have not yet experienced a day like this directly, they have been in and around the squad. The game being at Ellen Road means a lot to the local girls as they're fans of the soccer team. We have to stay grounded though, as there is still a Challenge Cup final to win, as well as on live TV, which will mean more to the future generations to come, as it will give them a taste of what can be given from the sport itself. Both ladies are champions in the truest sense of the word, as they know what it means for the game to have it at such a venue like Ellen Road. A final like that, I would prefer it myself to have the final on finals day, but it's a good experience that could build up if the backing from you, the fans, can make something of it. But I hope you're all tuning in. I made some subtle hints earlier in the video where you can watch it in the UK, and I hope you're able to watch it around the world also on either the BBC World Service, BBC iPlayer, or any other international streaming services or TV stations. And I leave you in this episode with the report of the game that was played on Thursday morning in the UK, Thursday night in the Australia, that was played between the South Sydney Rabbitohs and Brisbane Broncos, which many have seen, as well as the player himself, as a goodbye game for Adam Reynolds, which he didn't get while at South Sydney Rabbitohs. Anyway, here come the teams. With that, the Rabbitohs have a handful of late changes in the 24-hour update. Isaiah Tass keeps his spot in the centres, with Tane Milne returning from suspension to take the place of Josh Mansour. David Moale is also a late inclusion for Hame Sella, while young edge forward Trent Peoples is the 18th man. There is a double blow for the visitors though, as Payne has a shoulder problem and Kurt Capewell is set to miss the trip to Sydney due to injury as well. TC Rabati replaces Capewell in the back row, and in another welcome boost for the Broncos, they get back Patrick Carrigan from a knee injury early, so he starts in Haas's number 10 jersey. Jake Turpin is listed in the reserves as he edges closer to make a return from a shoulder complaint. The game had a lot to play on, as the Broncos sit comfortably in 6th place with a 2-point gap towards their opponents after 5 wins compared to the Rabbitohs' 4 wins, as the host and Broncos have both played 9 games this season. This game, as I said, was billed as Adam Reynolds' homecoming, and playing against his old club for the first time, it was the Souths who had the first crack at the attacking set. Being early in the game, the Broncos fended off the threats from the Rabbitohs and began getting momentum back. The visitors showed plenty of positivity, with Reynolds' kicking game putting them on the front foot, and it wasn't long before the Broncos moved the ball to their right edge, and Tony Staggs tipped on a pass for Selwyn Cobbo, who looked certain to score, but the pass was ruled forward to spoil the Broncos' opportunity. After some back and forth sets, it was the Broncos who struck the first blow. Reynolds put on an attacking bomb into the night sky, targeting Corey Oates, who leapt above the pack and dived over for a try. Following their first points, the Broncos produced an error deep in their own half, setting up a play from the scrum. The Rabbitohs got an overlap, and Tyne Milne looked to have scored in the corner. However, on replay, Herbie Farnworth knocked the ball loose before Milne scored. The Broncos turned up the heat following that close call, and they made it tough for the Rabbitohs to make ground. Slowly started to win the field position battle as well against the Rabbitohs' attack. After applying some pressure, they eventually got their second try. Patrick Carrigan produced a late offload, and Adam Reynolds scampered for a try under the posts. He rubbed salt in the wounds of his former club as he converted to make it a 12-point buffer. Just as they did after their first try, an error from the Broncos got the Rabbitohs back on the attack. In the lead up to halftime, the Rabbitohs had plenty of sets attacking the Broncos' line, but the visitors' defence stood firm. Although finally, the Rabbitohs got on the board with a try from Tyne Milne. This was converted, and the halftime score was 12 points to 6. A fast start to the second half saw both sides go close to scoring. For the Rabbitohs, it was an obstruction call that denied them, and the Broncos knocked on over the line to cost themselves a third try. With the game poised on the night edge, Adam Reynolds came to the front once again. An attacking bomb put Blake Taaffe under pressure, and Taaffe couldn't control the ball. Selwyn Cobbo cleaned up the scraps and dived over for a fortuitous try. With a 12-point buffer restored, the Broncos gave the Rabbitohs a path back into the game when Timari Martin made an error under a high ball. Gifting the field position, the Rabbitohs struck back with Tyne Milne grabbing a double off a Cody Walker pass. In the very next set, South Sydney were their own worst enemy when Junior Tatola coughed up the ball. The Broncos earned a penalty when they caught the defence offside, and Adam Reynolds opted for a penalty goal to extend the visitors' lead to 8. Once again, an error from Junior Tatola was the downfall of the Rabbitohs. Off the back of the scrum, Adam Reynolds links up with Corey Oates, who burst through the lines, which he offloaded to Herbie Farnworth, who stepped inside 2 defenders to score a decisive try for the Broncos. With 10 minutes remaining, the home side began to get desperate while trailing by 14. They got a repeat set and surged forward, looking to keep the game alive. Similarly to the previous chances, their execution was noticeably lacking from the Rabbitohs, as a straight pass from Blake Taaffe went over the sideline. Even as the home side were given another chance, just minutes later, Cody Walker knocked on and Selwyn Cobbo took his chance. He scooped up the ball, palmed away from a tackle attempt, and raced 90 yards to score his second try. With that final blow, the final nail was hammered into the Rabbitohs' coffin as the Broncos ran away with a strong 20 points win. Adam Reddle's new side are now 4 points in the ladder clear of his old side as they won 32 points to 12. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any updates that may be coming your way, or new videos as well. We need to grow this sport. We need to. It's up to you and me. Whoever's watching this, share the word. Tell me what your thoughts are of today's episode. Any opinions about the game are always welcome. But the women's game, it's going to be interesting. A final, a trophy to be played at before the Super League season actually kicks off for the women, whether it's north or south. Saints, are they going to go for 4 trophies this year, with the Nines tournament being involved? Salford Nines is at the end of May, so it's going to be very interesting. Or is it mid-June? I can't remember. Anyway, the 9 tournament, the League Leaders Shield, Grand Final, and also this weekend's Challenge Cup Final. It'll be interesting for them. Salford, 2 new signings, extending contracts, should I say. Callum Watkins staying on board at his hometown club, while Andy Ackers, who's been very, very consistent, as we all know, extending his deal to the end of 2022. Good signings? You tell me in the comments below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, share this video worldwide. Also, click in that barcode to get into join our site on Facebook. But anyway, in the meantime, please stay safe. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode.